Hello, guys. It's time for episode 7, and this time we should continue um, on the two fronts. So, some build up before proceeding to cleaning those armies, those enemy armies in Toulouse. Um, so, some mining improvements. I need to continue to improve my income because I don't earn a lot of gold. Still, I use somewhat cheap armies, aside from those cavalry and heavy mercenary spearmen. So, as this is a very hard difficulty, the enemies come from all sides, and even the Papal States sent an army to Toulouse. I'm glad that they find Toulouse as their new, like, arch enemy castle of mine because it's a front castle, so I don't need to protect my back anymore. I'm not really impressed by the options for infantry in future. Um, the dismounted Feldon Knights are really good option that all the Western factions have. I was just looking if there is something more interesting. And also, maybe the English might try to attack me once again in the back, but I hope that the AI decides to go for the front castles if they have the option, because I'm thinking for a campaign against the British pretty soon, but I need to split my northern army into two, so one part could continue to Europe, I mean to the continental part of Europe, and the second part to land on the island. But yeah, we'll see about that. A lot of things have to happen to get there. First, we need to defeat all those French armies in the north, of course. So here, pretty much, I'm ready for the next turn. Um, the French are doing some movements in the north, but they pretty much stay around their city of Anji. Not sure if I pronounced that right. And so the Papal States attack my castle at Toulouse. I am very impressed that the AI had such difficulty. Even the Papal States send an army so far from Rome to defeat you. Never saw that, but I always played on medium because it's on default. And I saw some comments that at least the campaign I should play it on medium because the AI is not that crazy. It's not that unrealistic. But I'm up to the challenge, and of course I'll continue with very hard Bolton campaign and battle. Not that I have other choice. Not that I can change the difficulty. Once again, some build up. I love doing build up before moving into battles. Um, I love after the battle to be fully ready to go to the next turn and see what the enemy will do. If they can do anything, of course. If you're not Portugal and you are already non-existent on the map. The Moors are next to be destroyed as a faction in this campaign, but not really sure yet if they only have one territory left, which is the one next to Marrakesh, essentially Algiers. But we'll see. Here I'm starting to build my army, um, moving the cardinal. So this army took some hit in that grand battle near the Rock of Gibraltar. So um, I must rebuild some of it and continue. Unfortunately, I don't have navy at this point, which would be really helpful to transfer troops to Granada, for example. The light cavalry to Granada and rebuild it. And here the only possible target for my assassin is this rebel captain, and this time we succeed, which means one skill plus, which increases its success chance from now on drastically. It'd be good if I can find some some 0 star. Don't know why I call them star 0 skill diplomats, because they are the easiest targets to kill. And yeah, coming out um, of Marrakesh, we are building one ship there. We try to replenish the light cavalry as we pass near the coast. One more watchtower. I love watchtowers, even if I don't need them, especially those at this moment. Getting the heavy spearmen, also the ballistas. I have to get the ballistas with me because this way I can assault the city, a city on the same turn when I besiege it, and lower the tax rate, move out. Not sure if this army will be enough to get the final Moorish settlement. Not sure if it's the final, but maybe it is. So it might appear that this is their final castle, but we'll see. Meanwhile, this army has finally reached Bordeaux, so we can retrain the lost troops and continue with one full stack northwards, take this French castle and attack those pesky British who also dared to attack me in my back. And here there are 3 armies in Toulouse. One of them is the Papal States one, which is actually besieging us. And the next 2 are a Sicilian and a French army. So unfortunately, we should deal with all of them before continuing, which is going to be hard. And if if I take a lot of losses, then I also have to rebuild, and by the time I rebuild my army, they're coming with 3 more. So we should take as less losses as possible. Pretty much nothing more that I can do. and move into the battle itself. There are some Italian crossbowmen, which I don't like at all, because first, they are long range, second, they have shields on their backs, so they are protected against range units far better than others. But yeah, of course, as usual, we should lure them and destroy them with cavalry. It's the easiest thing to do. I don't like to leave them shooting. Yeah, so the enemy takes position way behind, but unfortunately there is only one gate in this castle, which means that I cannot move out. I cannot position my ballistas and cavalry to move out from a side gate, which I usually do, because when you move out from the front gate, you usually trigger the enemy ranged units to attack you, which is not great. But yeah, we don't have any other option. So we are watching at the enemy movements to see how they will redeploy after the start of the battle. They love doing that. I remember once they were doing such a massive redeployment, like from one side of my castle to the other, that I destroyed a lot of units simply by activating the towers. And once they were doing the same, I went out with some heavy cavalry and crushed everything in the back, which meant siege machines, archers, and whatever. But yeah, AI is not great, especially in this not so new game, probably 20 years since its release. Yeah, I might be talking bullshit right now, but yeah. So putting my cavalry right in front of the gate. So initially in this case, I was thinking for luring the enemy archers only with cavalry, but in time I decided to go for the better option, which was to lure them with archers, because the cavalry is much more precious um, than some peasant crossbowmen or peasant archers. So yeah. Meanwhile, positioning some of my archers on the walls. I wasn't sure how close the enemy ones are going to come, but yeah, it appears that they're not going to come into the range of my towers and my archers. Since they have very long range, it will be enough for them to attack my cavalry without getting attacked at the same time. But it's still enough for my cavalry to smash him. So more cavalry going out, it takes some time, and sometimes I don't rush the battle too much. Like I love taking my time rearranging troops and whatnot. So we are moving the heavy cavalry on the flank. It's good to attack them from the side and from different directions in general, not just from the front. Sometimes I will move in my cavalry fully to the side and lure them with archers from the front so I can charge them in from the side so they don't run away. Also remember that I'm not attacking them fully frontally here, despite I can do that and still win. I can win quite a good victory, but I'll get a lot more losses. Which is going to be problem then, because as I said, we also have to defeat two other armies, which are nearby. So yeah, we don't have much choice. And finally, we are getting the crossbowmen out, a squad of crossbowmen out. I was ready to attack them at full speed if they decided to continue, but sometimes just one or a few horses of my division are coming a bit closer, and the AI decides this is it, I'm going to move in. And then these horses just continue moving, they get out of that range, and the enemy just, yeah, okay, I'll just go back, you're too far now. You might wanna try doing something. So now we have three squads of cavalry out, each for one of the enemy archers. We also have the crossbowmen out in a loose formation because, yeah, I want to take as less losses as possible, even with this division. And we are moving out. And as you can see, it appears that the crossbowmen are not really interesting for them. They are now way up front. Finally, the enemy archers move out. I want to lure the rest of the divisions, of course. Here they are, and now we charge our heavy cavalry, like full frontal charge. Of course, we don't want to get nearby like, we don't want to move through the crossbowmen because they're about to be attacked. And as you can see, I already lost some, but I fully charged two of the enemy archers, and now we are moving with the heavy cavalry. So one of the squads actually pulled back, which means that we should also pull back our archers. And I'm not defeating the enemy crossbowmen as quickly as I wanted to. But yeah, if you're playing on lesser difficulty, it's highly likely that that initial charge might break them, even or if it doesn't break them, when I moved in that heavy cavalry, essentially my king in the back, that would be enough. But they're not giving up so easily on very hard, and sometimes that might be annoying. So the last remaining squad is now shooting at me. At least they don't have a direct vision of my cavalry, and they should shoot above their own troops, which, trust me, is great for me at this point, because if they were shooting directly at my cavalry troops, it could have been a disaster. That's what I love to do with my crossbowmen. So luckily my cavalry went a bit more forward, which made their crossbowmen pull back because they're always on skirmish mode on. They always try to run away. That's how the AI archers work. And probably that's how they should work, but yeah, sometimes I'm a bit more ambitious and sometimes I pay for that, which you see in one of the upcoming battles in this episode. So once again, moving the crossbow militia out, then we'll take out the final enemy crossbowman squad, and then we are going to move out our ballistas, and we are going to demolish the rest of the Papal States army. How how they dared to come this far, no idea. So charging with the heavy cavalry, the Mailed Knights will do just great, and with one light cavalry squad also. I not like made the best charge, but yeah, it was really sufficient enough. Uh, they're still not routing, which is insane, finally. The third cavalry division was too much. And this is it. So now we can start moving the ballistas out. They are slow moving, so but still we have a lot of the battle timer, which is cool. Sometimes it takes a lot of time to come out of a castle, especially if it's a citadel and it's a doubled wall and you forget some of your troops in the citadel. But this time they were all closer to the main gate, so we can move out. We don't need that a loose formation anymore because there aren't any more ranged troops on the enemy side of any kind. We can also use our cavalry, light cavalry, to do like major damage on the enemy. So we are also getting it out. Previously in the past, I've tried different strategies to deal with in such cases. I always try to rally out when I'm besieged, get out of the castle with a few troops, do as many damage as possible, and then go back. Usually the AI attacks on the next turn, so we try not to get a lot of losses on your infantry. But after a while, I learned that the best way to defend is to have at least one ballista. Two ballistas, great. Three ballistas, fabulous. But yeah, they're not that cheap to maintain, so yeah, you should place them um, only at territories which are liked to be attacked. Initially, it was a bit crazy on the Iberian Peninsula, but now I think that the AI will channel those attacks only to some certain castles and towns, like it's the case with Toulouse right now. And also, light cavalry, light ranged cavalry um, does a lot of damage in this situation. So ideally, I would like to have light cavalry and ballistas defending my castle. This time is a bit different because I'm preparing to continue my conquest, but at the same time getting besieged. And yeah, my ballistas are finally moved in a position, which means to the side of the enemy, which once again is uninterested and simply loves to look at the castle. They're probably impressed by the architecture or something like that. Just in case we move near to our ballistas, a squad of heavy spearmen, because if the enemy cavalry decides to attack, and sometimes they do, it can be really deadly. But a squad of heavy spearmen behind the ballistas and the ballistas itself ruining the charge of the enemy cavalry, it should be enough. So, yeah, as you can see, when you're attacking a division from the side with ballistas and also with catapults, it works great, but catapults are not that precise, while ballistas are just wild. Yeah, you basically kill a lot of troops quickly, which is simply great. And also, if the enemy brings catapults, the ballistas are also great because you can target to attack the catapults themselves, but not the division itself, not the units that are pushing the catapults. And the catapults are really not that accurate, which means that in 99% of the cases, your ballistas will take out both the catapults before them doing any damage to your squad. Probably further into the campaign, you also see that. So far, they're not building a lot of catapults. But yeah, I feel that we are getting behind in terms of troops. Yeah, the majority of the enemies are using the same troops as ours, but in time they'll come with heavy infantry. So the enemy king has died, and of course they will now, not king, sorry, captain. The Papal States captain died. They like readjusted their formation, moved forward to the castle to better see the architecture. Simply probably their captain was preventing them from moving forward. Of course, I'm kidding. The AI does that all the time um, when you destroy an enemy division, they rearrange their, and if you destroy a whole row, they rearrange even more drastically. But yeah, I'm still not moving my crossbowmen in range because I think this will trigger their heavy cavalry to attack, and I need to reduce that final full stack um, like drastically because it's still a dangerous one if it charges at your archers um, or ballistas or even at your spearmen. There will be some major losses from the initial charge itself, and I don't want to lose troops. I have to fight two more armies, and then without like rebuild to continue to Marseille, which is, which is nearly impossible, but we'll see how this is going to play out. So moving those ballistas closer to the final full stack of cavalry. Meanwhile, one of the ballistas is shooting at the enemy infantry. They already one of their squads is reduced to not to a bare minimum, but like significantly reduced. And yeah, it's really deadly. The cool part, because I mentioned heavy infantry a few minutes ago, the cool part is that the ballistas continue to be like really deadly against heavy infantry, and they demolish them the same way they demolish the other infantry. But as the time goes by and we get gunpowder cannons and whatever, I just want to have cannons because they're not that precise. They might not be that useful in situations like this, but it's so easy to capture settlements with cannons compared to ballistas and catapults. And even trebuchets, I know that they are great, but yeah, it's too expensive to get them at this stage. And usually when my economy is good enough to go for such troops, such units, I'm approaching the gunpowder age and I'm like, I'll just wait a few more turns. But yeah, I know the trebuchets are also great, but especially with Spain, it's hard for me to get my economy running until like a lot of turns into the game. Maybe if I didn't went for light cavalry, but only for militias and replenishing those militias, it's possible. But I don't see how without this crazy Iberian light cavalry. I mean, it's great. It's winning me battles, so it is what it is. We are continuing the onslaught on the Papal States Army, which is stunned um, at my city gates. Now we are also, if you look at that bar above the hourglass, you'll see that the AI now thinks that we are the better army on the field, which is to be expected. We were the better army from the start, but they finally recognized that. So this cavalry squad is like routing, and we'll leave it to route. I mean, by itself, it will not stop the whole army to be routed. First, because their captain is already dead, and second, because most likely the battlefield will be left at most by that many knights. So I'm now going to demolish that final cavalry squad, continue to work on the infantry, and then move in the rest of my ranged troops and simply wipe out the army of the Papal States. And if they continue to attack me, and if they want to continue with the war, we will take Rome. I really don't care about crusades and whatever. Probably the only thing that I do care is Inquisitors. I hate them. I think I was a bit late with my assassin, and it will take a lot more turns to build them, even if it doesn't die. So now this cavalry squad is reduced to just 2 horses. The end is probably near. I wonder if they will rearrange once again. Probably not. Here it is. So now, no cavalry. They're not doing rearrangement in terms of roles of the formation and whatever. So now we are ready to also move out to move in our crossbowmen closer to the enemy. Yes, this will start triggering some movements, but if we act accordingly, we can destroy the remaining of the enemy troops without losing a single unit on our side. And we'll try to do just that. Now, as you can see, the hourglass, there isn't much time left from the battle, so we should start moving, definitely. So we should start moving to wiping out the remaining army as quickly as possible. So these crossbowmen are in range from the back, direct line of sight. And yeah, you simply see the devastation on this Spearman squad. 63, 1 salvo, and there are now 40. It's really devastating. That's the thing with range units. If you can get them to attack from such position that is from the back or from a side, if the enemy has shields, you should also have in mind the position of their shield when they're in an idle position. So now we should stop the attack of our crossbows, at least towards, maybe against all moving troops, enemy troops essentially. So we could move in 1 cavalry to basically get the routing troops. Yep, just in time. It's essential to not move troops in front of any ranged units, especially crossbowmen, because their arrows, their projectiles are making far
smaller arc, and you might, suffer some friendly fire. So this crossbowman absolutely devastating the enemy from the flanks and in the back. We just capture all the routing troops going to be executed later. And not sure what happened with this division, but I think it was absolutely destroyed. It didn't rout, so it was absolutely destroyed. Now moving in for the next. Too close to comfort this time, but unfortunately sometimes the skirmish mode of cavalry tends to be a bit more tricky. For the majority of time I love moving my cavalry by myself because I hate relying on skirmish mode. Maybe after the cavalry starts running you can enable it and everything is going to be fine, but otherwise it's not really like that. I think I moved in my crossbowmen a bit too close, and that happened. Stopping the fire at will. I'm basically playing a lot with these settings constantly. Readjusting troops for better angle, and finally I'm getting these routing troops. Let's attack the one squad that it's not moving. Come on, you're all in range. Why do you have to move further? An absolute devastation. Now they're routing. I think there is only one division left before the absolute end of the battle. It should be pretty soon. So we basically lost only a few horses and 18 archers and killed more than 1,000, I think. We'll see in just a few seconds. Ouch. Yeah, that should be it. The final salvo. Yeah. Of course, continue. Mop up the battlefield. I'm just checking if my troops are still shooting at them, so I can I can get them with my cavalry. It's in the final minutes of the battle, which is great. The battle timer was running out. 1,500 enemy troops. Yep, the remaining are executed. We can retrain and continue on the next turn. And as you can see, the Sicilians are moving in some heavy infantry. Continuing to move our diplomat towards the Turks and the Egyptians. Afterwards, we will return him back in Europe. But I don't really need him at this point. I never used diplomats a lot in this game. And it's time to move to the next turn. The French are retreating in the south, but rebuilding in the north. An English diplomat, they'll probably want a ceasefire and we'll reject it. Yep, because in a few turns we'll be attacking Rennes, probably. Yep. Strangely, the Sicilians didn't besiege Toulouse. The enemy spy has just died, I think. No, he's outside. Okay. But we don't really care about him. I want to move south to find out those African provinces to the south. I need them for trade and for income, but first I need to check in how easy are they for capture. I have some memories that they have some cavalry, maybe heavy infantry, but not really sure. They're not that easy, I think. But we'll see. So the faction Air and another army coming, they're not really strong armies, but together they might be a problem, since our army is not really at full strength. Somehow we have to move our light cavalry to Granada using that bolt, but we are not really that close. Not sure what was the best decision here, but I think I didn't make it the best way possible. In any case, I have 2 squads of heavy mercenary spearmen at full strength almost, so I should be okay. And also one of the light cavalry squads is alright too. That English army looks weak. We must find the next best option for our assassin. I'm not sure, probably another captain. They have the highest success rate, like 83. Yeah, let's move in that direction. I should move my diplomat to Italy after a while, because there is the biggest spam of agents. So a full stack army going north. It should see some action in the next turns, continue the conquest northwards. I should stay with this ship at port. Yeah, nothing much that I can do now. Here, let's continue with the diplomat. It can move to Asia Minor. Okay, let's move out. We have to defeat this Sicilian army. We are leaving only the peasant archers. Let's have one more squad of them. And we cannot attack on this turn for some reason. It is what it is. Are they that far strange? Yeah, let's... Mining or markets? That is the question. There are a lot of mines in Lisbon, so it should be profitable to go for mines. Let's also move in the king. That should be better. That English army really looks weak. I hope the two other units are not heavy cavalry and we should be fine, even at our back. The French once again are doing some interesting movements, port blockades, no one cares. Simply, I don't have income to get me a powerful fleet, so, and we'll continue like that for a while. Should we get one more spy? Why not? So there are two armies combined and now they look a bit better. It's not going to be easy. Maybe I should replenish my light cavalry, but I think I made a mistake here because my cavalry was unable even like that to reach Granada. And here I'm just left with heavy spearmen, heavy cavalry, and some ballistas, which can do nothing in a pitched battle, I think. So we have to be careful. Let's build one more watchtower here. We have to be careful on the next turn. They can't get us on the next turn, but we also won't be able to get our light cavalry ready by the next turn. So yeah. We can get the markets now. There aren't more troops coming, and this army is staying there, which is fine. And we'll move this light cavalry unit at the center, just to keep in check the English. So Papal States and Sicily are not friends. So if we attack the Sicilians, that minor Papal States army there will not help them. Meanwhile, in the north, the French are still moving around, but we will get them. We can get trade rights and map information with the Turks on the next turn. And now I think we should finally get rid of those armies in Toulouse, so we can, getting a boyar in Granada, because I want to produce one squad of peasant archers just to stay there and keep the public order while moving this spear squad to Cordoba. Yeah, that's called perfection, an unneeded one probably sometimes, but it is what it is. The Pope hates me, but that's not new. I'm a bit worried for that Inquisitor in the north. I hope he doesn't target my commanders. Let's get one more assassin and start building him, so I have two. Okay, first things first. Let's get the Sicilian army. They want to fight. They have some heavy cavalry, some light cavalry, some ballistas, one squad of archers and one squad of heavy infantry. We don't have proper heavy infantry, so we should have been a bit more careful than I was in the battle itself, and you see now. So, some usual stuff, cavalry on the flanks, and all the light cavalry this time on one of the sides, on the more high groundish side. Then the ballistas, and actually we have one heavy spearman squad, sorry. Then we have the archers, and then we have the infantry. I wanted to put some archers on the flanks, but I think I got greedy with one of them, and I completely forgot that they are there. The light infantry in the back, in general the infantry in the back. So the Sicilians didn't wait like the Moors and started moving forward, enabled the fire at will for basically every squad, and started moving my light cavalry to the flank of the enemy, basically to start shooting as soon as possible at the enemy troops. There is a lot of cavalry, so I should start getting rid of them definitely. I'm coming from the top. The archers will be shooting at me, but that's fine. I'll just leave them do so. I need to reduce their heavy cavalry. And after they move, I'll smash into the enemy archers with my light cavalry. Actually, here I'm directly going at their ballistas because they're planning to attack me. So now I must run back. But apparently, once again, skirmish mode is not the best. Let's get this squad. Here I completely forgot my archers on the flank, and they were attacked by the light cavalry of the enemy. So yeah, they were kind of mauled. Now we will be able to stabilize that front, but yeah. We have to stop the fire at will. Let's get the enemy cavalry with the spearmen. At least we killed the enemy captain quickly. And we are basically moving in our light cavalry to get more kills. I think the heavy infantry in the center is what holds the enemy from not completely running away, and also this light cavalry squad. Of course, continue. We definitely suffered far more losses than I wanted and than I usually do suffer. But yeah, we weren't exactly ready. I think I underestimated a bit, and I completely forgot about the half of the enemy army. Right after I moved in with my light cavalry on the flank. So it wasn't perfect, but the Sicilian army is destroyed, which is the plus. I will also be able to catch that division of ballistas, I think. maybe. Yep. Well, in the end, it's only 160 units, which is fine. And now we also have to deal with that papal army. Ooh, trade increase. I love it. Loyalty and command. So it's just heavy cavalry and some archers. No, you're not running away. Captain Ventura is going to get destroyed. Yeah, so here I think I didn't get the exact position of the enemy right away. So at first I was trying to position my ballistas here on the uphill, but I wasn't able to do it, basically. I was just doing some usual troop placement, which was completely unneeded, as you'll see. So at the start of the battle, it appears that the enemy is on the mountain and they start moving in some direction. So I also launched my cavalry uphill. Increased the speed of the battle. I wasn't exactly sure what the enemy was trying to do. They were doing a lot of movement actions, and I just move in with my cavalry, going to the top of the mountain too. I wasn't able to really see what they were trying to do, but then I rushed my cavalry because I got afraid that the enemy will get an insane position on the top of the hill and they'll start shooting at my troops. So they have a squad of mailed knights and 2 squads of Pavis crossbowmen. But as I went up to the hill, they started marching again. So I tried to get into some position which would allow me to better charge at them. They were just moving. They didn't try to start shooting at me or whatever. So I decided I'll continue to move too. But then as my cavalry got in touch with the enemy cavalry and I saw that I am getting behind basically the enemy troops, I decided that let's go full in. So basically I lost a few more horses, but I managed to destroy the remaining of the Papal States army. Basically at this point I was just waiting for them to completely rout and attempt to run from the battlefield. Their crossbowmen are now defeated. There is some heavy cavalry which fights to the death. But yeah, no one will survive the battle, so I just lost some horses, which might be a problem continuing to France with a bit more weakened cavalry, but it is what it is, and at least the French don't have good archers, at least at this point. So we'll probably move forward without replenishing my cavalry, but we'll see on the next turn. And this concludes the episode. Can't wait to continue on to the next one, continue the conquest, and see you next time in the next episode.